Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I have with me Dr. Akhil. Akhil has secured an amazing rank of 60 in this INI, which is a jump from last INI of 696. Actually, in the last INI in itself, he could have scored a top 100 or top 150 rank, but he messed up on time management, missed out on 27 questions. So, but his goal was always a National Institute of National Importance, names. So he thought he'll give it another try and got an All India rank of 60 this time. He wanted to make a video with me, and I actually also wanted to make a video with him because he said he credits this success, especially the revision part, to one book, and that book is.
So it's none other than first aid. Like there's a lot of criticism that I keep hearing about in this book, and then people keep telling ki this is not the thing, this will not get you the rank. Trust me, 90 to 99% of the people who are giving that criticism wouldn't have read first aid in the first place.
Most of the people who are criticizing this book, A, either have not read first aid in the first place, or B, they themselves never use first aid for their own postgraduate entrance examination. If they would have used, they probably would have realized what a gem of creation this book is. Anyhow, I understand that why this criticism. I can also understand why this criticism stems from, because it feels like we are sort of creating a FOMO. कि हमें लग रहा है that we are creating a FOMO. So at the onset of this video, I'll say that this is not meant for if you're preparing for NEET PG in the March. Don't use first aid. But if you have 6 months, let's say if you're preparing for May INI, you're not preparing for NEET PG, you're preparing for May INI. Like Akhil was preparing for November INI, he was preparing specifically for November INI. Then 6 months is actually more than sufficient to go through this book. How did first aid help you, Akhil?
Initially, I thought I won't be able to understand the book because it's very concise and it's very concentrated information. Then what I started doing was my GT scores are very bad, and I want to tell that after reading this book, my GT scores actually started improving. And in fact, it started skyrocketing in the end. I did it retrospectively. I initially went through this book in a very brief way, and I realized that this is the information that I need to look in my notes, and whatever is not there here, it might not be that important
in the notes.
And then I just made sure that previous year topics are also covered in the notes, and that was saving a lot of time for me. And in fact, some of the notes, like for example pathology and pharmac specifically, I used to read those huge notes, and eventually I used to realize everything is there in the tabular column in this book. So 2 pages you read and your entire unit is done. And trust me, you can answer almost 80 to 90% of the questions just by reading the pharmac part in this book. And I can prove it to you guys, whoever have given this November INICET, like morning session they asked a question which was just above it, and in the afternoon session there was a question which was
just below it.
यहाँ पे I've bookmarked it just to show. I don't know if you guys can see it.
I think you can see it,
yeah. So you can see here, afternoon session mein they had asked about ref sums, and in the morning session ref sums, and afternoon session Zellweger, and they're just their consecutive topics in the book. And if you just go to the microbiology part, here you see anaplasma and ehrlichiosis, and morning ehrlichiosis was there and anaplasma, just in that sequence, and the same 2 images are there, and the exact same image was repeated in the exam.
So actually the thing is that this is not your primary source. People have to realize, I think a lot of people get that. I think a lot of criticism is because people think that coaching is sort of against coaching. This is something which can be used by whichever coaching you're going, whichever app you're using, whichever book you're using. It is a highly concentrated, concise material meant so that you can actually revise in the last 10 days.
Yeah. That is totally agreeable fact. If there is one book you can revise in the last 10 days, then it is this book.
So that is the only reason I promote first aid, or Rishabh promotes first aid, and that is the reason, not just me. Be it Sai Sangeeta last year, she promoted first aid in her interview with Dr. Thameem. Akhil has promoted first aid in his interview with Dr. Thameem. Dr. Thameem himself recommends first aid. Zainab recommends first aid. She was all India rank 1. I recommend first aid. I got a good rank. Rishabh recommends first aid. He got a good rank. I took an interview with Shreya. She was a through and through Maro user. She recommended first aid. Rakesh, he was a through and through DAMS user. He recommended first aid. There was Reshu, he was a through and through Bhatia user. He recommended first aid. So divided by coaching, united by one book called first aid. So whichever coaching you're using, those notes are important, yes. But if you want something which is for concise and precise revision, then this is the book to go to.
Yeah, I totally agree with this. Like,
So-
I think Sir has summarized
summarize the main things. Actually, the reason I think a lot of people, the criticism part comes from, and this obviously this book alone won't make you clear the exam, but this is like for the first and second prof, for those 100 questions that are going to be from first and second prof, nothing better for revision except this book.
Yeah, sir. That
But
I
I myself will say, no fear of missing out. I myself will say, right now it's not the time. But if your goal is, let's say, next year, or if your goal is May I, please definitely consider it. There's one approach that Akhil will like to tell you how you can actually incorporate it with your notes. The retrospective approach, if you can.
Yeah, so I think I told them,
Yeah,
like,
they told.
initially you read the first aid and you briefly see what are the topics, and like when you go back to your notes, it'll help you at least strike out the not so important topics.
Even if you don't want to use the book per se, what you can actually do is, if you want to read your own notes itself, what you can do is just go through first aid and strike out the non-important part in your notes, and you revise your own notes, because obviously you have a photographic memory of the notes. That way you can incorporate this book into your preparation.
And I always keep giving this example. So it's like reading this first aid is also like getting into a relationship. Like initially you propose a girl, she'll reject you straight away. Like bar, like if you just keep going, then it will become the love of your life. And for that you need to persist with the book. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक बार देख लिया और जज कर लिया कि ये अच्छा नहीं है. So when you actually read it, you'll start realizing in your GTs, in your exam, ki you are exactly remembering the things directly from first aid. Kyunki the fonts that are used in first aid, I think most of them don't know, it is researched in such a way that people remember it in the exam. You know, so much of research is done. Yeah, and then to find an errata in first aid, like you will be paid. So it's like it's the most refined information that you can get, and you can just blindly trust the book in so many concepts that are out there. That is one thing.
Right. I did not know about this fact, frankly. That they actually pay you for errata and everything.
Yeah.
Now my next question, the reason I did this interview was for this one part. That's more, but the bigger reason I actually did this interview and actually want people to watch this interview is because I wanted Akhil to tell the story that we medicals, we also have so much stigma again about mental health, about depression. And I myself suffered from depression and was admitted with depression, and I actually wanted people to realize that it's something very, very real. And I wanted to tell people the story of Akhil and how he what was his struggle with depression. If you can actually just go ahead and everything.
Yeah, sir. I think I'm quite open about that, because I want, if there is someone out there who can be helped because of this, I'll be more than happy. First off, I want to clear these two things. Being depressed and being clinically in depression is not exactly the same. And depression exists, and you should never let your ego in and then tell yourself ki aim kaisa hoga. Like, I don't think so I can undergo that. And you need, as the earlier you take help from people, the better it is for you, because I have lost my 2.5 years in just that. And I always keep telling, I'm from a 2013 batch. Like, by now all my colleagues are finishing their residency, but now I'm getting into it. But if I hadn't had that courage to take help and then come forward, I wouldn't have been in this position, sitting next to Aditya sir and giving this interview. At every stage of your way, you will have your ups and downs, and people might even mock at you. Hey, kya depression hoga yaar? It's all there in the mind. I think those people who actually have undergone depression, unko hi samajh mein aata hai sir,
what depression feels like.
And
it's like from what I am recollecting, I don't remember those 3 months when I was clinically, like I would not come out of a depression, because abhi yaad bhi nahi aate, like how they went through. It's like a heavy thing, because ऐसा लगता था कि there's something heavy which is always there. मेरे को ऐसे feeling, physically feeling आती थी.
हाँ सर, वो थोड़ा ऐसा लगता था कि मेरा legs, my legs are very heavy.
मतलब quite literally move करने में आपको मुश्किल होती है. It's very tough to get out of the bed actually in the first place.
And if half them who are watching this, like who have not experienced this, might even mock at it. ऐसा कैसा हो सकता है?
क्योंकि बेड से उठने में तेरे को प्रॉब्लम हो रही है. And I did not even brush my teeth for 2-3 days. मेरे को एक बार ऐसा याद है, like not too much, but
sir, I also exactly remember for the entire 48 hours, the only thing that I had eaten was one puff, and I wasn't even hungry. I ate that puff because ऐसा लगा I have to eat something to survive. उतना लॉस ऑफ एपेटाइट था. एंड आई यूज टू गेट स्केयर्ड कि अभी कोई आ रहा है सामने. आई यूज टू फील सो एंशियस. माई स्टार्ट यूज टू स्टार्ट रेसिंग. लाइक पता नहीं क्यों होता था. अरे ऐसा नहीं है कि वो खाने के लिए आ रहा है मुझे, लाइक, बट स्टिल आई यूज टू फील एंशियस. And and if I look at myself today, confidently speaking in front of the camera or confidently talking at any given platform, I actually, thank Almighty that, I got an opportunity to improve myself. And then trust me, guys, like, the hard work that you're gonna put today, and like that one success can change the perspective you have towards your life. Maybe it will help you get out of that hopelessness and then, come out as a winner. And for that, the effort comes from you and only you and everyone around you. It's like I request people around you, if someone is like not feeling okay, or someone is actually talking about depression or have such thoughts, now I think you guys need to stand as a support rather than have
Mocking
criticism
them.
over it.
True. That's
Yeah.
very true. So how did you take help, Malab? Like medicines or
Yeah,
CBT?
sir. I initially consulted a psychiatrist, and then he put me on medication, and I used to have regular therapy sessions. And eventually, like, by the end of 6 months of my medication and therapy sessions, I started improving. So actually, in 1 year, I cleared my 8 papers of my, whatever was lagging behind in my prof exams, right? And eventually here I am today. But the journey is gonna be tough. Like I can't just describe, because you have to go through that and feel that कि क्या होता है अभी किसी में द एनेडोनिया जो लिखते हैं ना सर बुक में, वो होता है सच्ची में. Like you lose interest in the most interesting things that you used to do previously. So when you actually start believing that yes, I can be better, yes, I will get fine, and I shouldn't step back and then let my ego in, and then I should just take help
Take
from
help.
someone. And by that, I think you are gonna
I think the thing is that the thing that he and we both will say is that it's okay. Like we are medicals. That does not mean that we cannot have depression. And if you think you are having depression, if you think that you are someone who's suffering from this, uh, don't let your ego come to it. Just go and take help, and that will definitely, most likely, help you out. Go to a psychiatrist, talk to a psychiatrist, go for a therapy session, go for CBT, and that is definitely going to, I definitely help you with.
yeah, so one thing I really want to tell you guys, whenever whatever you're doing in your life, whether taking help or be it whatever it is, initially today people are gonna mock at you. Tomorrow they will make fun of you. But trust me, guys, day after tomorrow will come when you will be in the pinnacle of success, and that day they are the ones, the same people, gonna come to you and ask you for advice. Believe in that day and keep striving towards it. That's the most important thing. And you should never think the remember one thing, like people who have only success stories in their life, right, they literally cannot handle the failures. And trust me, I think Tamim sir used to always tell this to us, whenever he used to describe Tokatsuba cardiomyopathy, he used to tell it's more common in Japanese people because everything is so pitch perfect there. तो उनको थोड़ा भी स्ट्रेस लग जाए ना तो इनफंडिबुलर स्पैज्म हो ही जाता है. लेकिन हमारा इंडियंस को कम होता है. क्यों? बिकॉज अगर ट्रैफिक में पार करना है तो एवरी टाइम वी हैव दैट स्ट्रेस, राइट? सो don't run away from stress. It's better to face them, challenge them, and win. And that's when you are gonna achieve greater heights, and you are gonna feel happy about yourself. And trust me, that time you don't need anyone to make you happy. You will be happy with yourself, you will spread happiness around yourself, and that is what is gonna help you. And your success is not just yours. I just keep repeating this. It's your college, it's your friends, it's your families. So make it count, guys, make it count. That's my big
Don't,
suggestion.
like if you are having depression, please go take someone's help, and you will come out stronger if you do take help. There's no harm in taking help. There is no problem in taking help, and it really doesn't matter. Your ego doesn't matter. And like I said, maybe the first day they'll mock you, the second day they'll laugh at you, but on the third day they'll come back to you for your advice, right? And frankly, I just want, like, this has to, that's about the interview I wanted to be. Like, the first, like, interview is much more about the fact that A, depression is real, B, take help, and see if you are taking help, and if you do have some amount of faith in medicine, CBT, you will definitely come out of it stronger. Akhil has come out of it stronger. So many people have come out of it stronger. That's it from me for today. Thank you and have a nice day.